Our last little auditing and tracing error tool is going to be the watch window. Now the watch window will allow you to keep an eye on particular cells to see if their value changes. Now the watch window is accessed from the formulas ribbon and then the formula auditing group. The watch window itself is movable, so we can drag it, lock it, move it to the bottom, to the right. See how it locks in? Just got to drop it in the right place for it to lock in. Move it to the left, and it locks in the left. Move to the bottom, and it locks into the bottom. So depending on where you would like it, top, middle, bottom or side, I think actually I'm going to put this at the side so I can see. You can resize anyway, and the columns within there can be resized. So we've got the book name, the sheet name, the cell and the value. So let's add a watch using our Stock Data International on firstly this cell here, which is the country cell. So we select the cell and click add watch. That's the address of the cell, add, and then that appears in our watch window. So we can see it's cell E4, it doesn't have a name and currently has #NA. Let's do one here on this empty cell. Well, it has a formula. Add watch, that's the cell. E12, current value is empty. And then about all of these weight cells, add watch. So it has the range this time, add, and you can see it adds all 5 cells in as separate watch items. Now because the watch window remembers the book as well as the sheet, you can actually move to other books and you'll see the watch window remains and it's still looking at that file. So it can be quite useful if you have linked workbooks to use a watch window because you can see what's happening in the other workbook. Where it's going to work for us here is that we can move to a different sheet, such as the country sheet, and see that anything we do here affects the value of any of these cells. For example, E4, which is NA. If I now currently pick on a country and give it the new code of ZZ, watch the watch window, when I press return, you can see that the value has now changed to Uruguay without us having to flick back and have a look at the order form template because it's showing us in the watch window. Watching the other cells, if we go to the items, and let's just pick on any particular item here and change that to red 00054. And again, the watch window won't change until the data entered the cell. So return, and you can see that the E12 cell has now changed to horse jumping, and at the same time F12's weight changed because it's now a different item. So the watch window, you can add cells or multiple cells to, and it will stay open until you close it. Locked wherever you want to lock it. We've locked it on the right, but it can free float or it can lock to the top, the left or the bottom. And as you're working in other spreadsheets or even other workbooks, you can see if what you're doing is having any effect on the sheet values that you're asking it to keep an eye on. If you name your cells, then obviously it's easier to watch which cells are changing the value of rather than the cell references. Now, once you've finished with the watch window, you can either close it, there's a little cross, but that will still retain a watch on those cells. If I go back in, you can see it's still watching those same cells. If I don't want to watch a cell anymore, I simply select and delete the watch, or I can multiple select using the normal shift click or control click and delete, and all of those watches are then gone. So the watch window will watch any cell and display its current value within the watch window whilst you're in another workbook or another sheet. It doesn't matter. It will stay here and it will keep looking at that cell so you can see if anything you're doing is having any knock-on effect. It's just another tool in your armory of trying to find problems with any of your formulas.